Hi, my name is Florian, and Nerdalize builds the cloud, one house at a time. And I'll promise it will be a bit clearer in a few minutes. So what you see on here is a radiator. But it's not just any radiator, it's a radiator full of very powerful computing servers. And the two people you see on there, they're Jan and Rinske, the first ever to use one of these in their home to heat the home. But why would we put servers into people's homes? Well, there's one reason, and that is cloud computing is very expensive. And the reason it's very expensive is that about 60% of the cost of a data center is in the building, the ground, the cooling system you have. So not actually in the servers that you actually want to run. So cloud uses about 8 times as much electricity as the entirety of the Netherlands. So if the cloud were a country, it would be right between Japan and India in terms of worldwide electricity consumption, in 5th place. So, and about half of that energy goes to overhead, so not actually to running these servers. So what happens when we put servers into people's homes? Well, there's a few things that go on. So homeowners save about 300 euros a year on their heating bill because they're using heat from useful computations, and we pay for the electricity. And then you have companies that make use of that computing power. They save between 30 and 50% because we use existing infrastructure and existing buildings. And per household, per year, you save 3 tons of CO2. So you scale that up, well, you can see the impact you're having. That's about 27% of the total CO2 balance of that household. Well, I'm not telling you anything new. The demand for computing power is increasing rapidly. And maybe a slightly different thing is that cloud is turning into a commodity. Computing power is something that becomes tradable. And there's a few things going on at the moment that make that possible. So vendor lock-in is kind of being broken open by technologies like Docker that allow you to make your computing jobs very portable. Transparency, so you make it easier to compare different cloud providers, which is still a challenge, so we're doing some work in that as well. And you get better and better tools to do cross-cloud management. From one interface, you can manage your instances in multiple cloud providers. But very importantly, and I think the strongest sign for computing becoming a commodity is, well, that you can trade it. And there's more and more markets coming that allow you to sell and resell your computing power. So together with Eneco, we've started rolling this out in some test households. And Eneco is one of the biggest energy providers in the Netherlands. They have about access to 2.5 million households. So let that sink in and start imagining this. Turn the Netherlands into the cloud powerhouse of Europe, not by building more and more massive data centers, but by equipping homes with heating devices. Well, maybe go a bit further and think of Europe as the cloud powerhouse of the world. Let's do the processing for other people and let them heat our home. Well, when Boas, Matthijs, and I started with this 2.5 years ago, people said, well, this is not going to work. You guys are nuts. You're crazy. Well, what we did is we went out and put together a killer team and started doing this. And with every step of the way, we're proving this is possible. It can be done. We've done it in 5 households. And we've gotten more and more companies on board. Think of genomics, think of geocomputing, think of video rendering, think of big weather models. We started computing for these companies, and with every single of these companies, we could show that we can generate huge savings for them and reduce their CO2 balance. So this is a nice example. There's one client, they use 150 CPUs for a month for genomics. They paid about 100K every month on Amazon. No, we went out and we started benchmarking for them, and hey, look, you can save a bit of money by going to Google Compute, for example. But if you use distributed infrastructure, use stuff that's already there, we've all built it already, all of a sudden you can save more than 40% on what you're spending before. And that's something that we're really striving for. And if you believe in the idea of computing as a commodity, or think, wait, this is just cool, I have my own server in my living room, then I want to invite you to help us create a world where heating is free and sustainable computing power an affordable commodity. Thank you very much.